Tanimbala, attack against Pinoy. Ngayon,
Binaliktad.
bintama naman sa inyo, laban sa inyo, mga defenders of victims of EJK. So, anong masabi niyo sa tanim biktima?
Ah, eto siguro yung pagkakataon na ilinaw kung sino yung mga biktima. So una, hindi totoo yung tanim biktima. Hindi, ang hirap mag-imbento ng ito, ganito siya namatay, kailan, ganyan, ganyan. At hindi pwede na magkaroon ng tanim biktima kasi stringent ang processes. And you've mentioned that earlier. Stringent ang processes dun sa pagpapatunay na biktima kami and to participate in the ICC. Kailangan mo ng proof of victimhood and then proof of identity. And then pangalawa, imposible yung tanim biktima na parang in the concept that they imagine it to be na parang tanim EJK or impossible. Kasi um, pinagdi-distinguish pa nila yung EJK victim at saka yung victim. In the ICC, a victim is someone who has been harmed by probably the killing, pero later on maybe we'll see the killing, torture, rape, and other inhumane acts. Sa ngayon, murder pa lang. Di ba? Yun yung naging issue. Bakit yung warrant of arrest ni Duterte only murder, excluding torture and rape? O di sige, we're holding him accountable for murder. But the victims of that murder, of that or one killing, you have indirect victims. Yung asawa na namatayan, biktima. Yung mga anak na nawalan ng breadwinner na magpapaaral, biktima. At lahat ng kabahay nila na nandoon nung nangyari yung insidente, posibleng maging biktima dahil dun sa psychological harm na created. Kaya yung iba dyan, yung isang argument kaya, bakit? Sino mga victims? Paano sila magte-testify? Paano sila magre-register? Sa ICC, kasi akala nila yung biktima, yung patay. Kaya kami parang, ang hirap mag-explain sa ayaw namang makinig at gusto lang na kunin yung mga tidbits, yung either maling nasabi mo or i-skew yung nasabi, ay, biktima daw. Hi, kaya yung particular dun sa kaso na sinasabi niya si Aling Sheila, I'm going to put this back out. Si Aling Sheila, biktima ng aresto yung mga anak niya nung panahon ni Duterte. Might not have been killed during the time of Duterte, yung isang anak niya, yung nasa picture, ganyan. Pero grabe yung pambubuli nila. Pero it turns out, was also a victim of one of vigilante killing, panahon ni Marcos. Kaya sabi namin, all the more, Duterte panagutin, Marcos singilin. It's always two-pronged. Hindi naman kami namimili.
Oh, hindi naman
Baka yung,
nawala yung EJK. We had Carlos of Human Rights Watch on this show, and he said, wait, like we're talking as if this is past. This is still happening.
yeah. And kaya lagi namin sinasabi yun, magkaano yan magkabilang panig yan. When you say Duterte panagutin, Marcos singilin. Kasi sino magpapanagot kay Duterte? And later on, sabi nila, pwede bang dalhin si Marcos sa ICC o kayo talaga ayaw nyo dalhin siya sa ICC? If he commits something as grave as this, then we can take him to whichever court. But of course, ang hirap nung bawat kibot na lang magkakasuhan tayo. Kailangan maging strategic tayo. Kaya yung sabi nga sa amin sa human rights litigation, ang uso ay strategic litigation. Yung you choose your battle, kumbaga. Choose the cases which would really benefit a lot. And for the Marcoses, during their era, ang naging tono yung mga civil cases. And then, si Attorney Carranza, si Attorney Ruben, helped in the PCGG, in the recovery of assets. Mas sabihin na natin medyo nauna yung civil aspect, yung pag-recover ng pera, pag-compensate dun sa mga victims, which I think moving forward dito sa kaso ni Duterte, we're doing it better na yung criminal aspect yung ina-address. Kailangan may mapatunayan na may kasalanan talaga. Beyond reasonable doubt. Kaya para sa akin, importante itong kaso na to. Para hindi lang dun sa parang kaso, no, importante ito to set the record straight. Dito, wala nang makakapag-deny na may namatay ba nung panahon ni Duterte? Wala naman eh. 7,000 lang, nasan yung mga pangalan? Wala. If the ICC clearly sets out the case, then we would all witness what really happened during the time of ICC lang sa totoo lang ang palagay ko makakapag-present yan. Of course, we've had the Quadcom, although sabi ko nga, well, we participated in it. We were very well aware of its frailties.
Parameters of
Yes, na parang
possibility.
pag may, sorry pero pag may naligaw na ng, or may naiba na ng direction, ay, ito yung gusto kong i-pursue ngayon. Parang kami, bitin pa po, may tanong pa po kami, may issue pa kami. Wala. You're at the mercy. It's a legislative inquiry, and really the product is a report and possible legislation. And that legislation would be mooted by the termination of, with the closure of Congress na by June. So parang new Congress na naman. So yung natrabaho noon, mawawala rin. So yung ICC ang aming pag-asa ngayon na mapakita ano ba talaga yung nangyari nung panahon ni Duterte.
Last part, I mean, alam natin marami na nakikinig sa atin, including, I won't be surprised if even Malacanang people and all, because I get the responses right away after interviews from people. So I know quite a wide range ang listeners natin. If you
Wow.
were to give an advice to the Malacanang, what should they do? Rejoin ICC right away? Form a truth commission? How to make sure na hindi ito yung ano lang, yung whims of whatever, Quadcom, Tricom, Pentagoncom, whatever. Like you want to make sure, di ba, na meron institutionalized process kung saan first magkakaroon ng proper legal principle legitimization nung nangyari kay Digong and probably soon kay Bato, because I'm still not convinced with the explanations from the government. Although I'm happy that Secretary Remulla at least admitted talaga nagkaroon ng failure of the justice system in a comprehensive sabotage way, including
Nagulat ako doon parang,
that. Yeah, but
wow!
thanks to Amy, my kabayan from here.
Ay, ganun.
She forced them to come up with good arguments, and I think that's a good way to start it, to admit first of all talaga nag-fail yung justice system natin. But if you were to give step 1, 2, 3, because ICC only covers the principles, but we know this wouldn't happen. This wouldn't have happened without participation of mid-level people. What is the way forward? Reintegration, reconciliation, security sector reform? I'm basically giving the answer, but I want to hear
Yeah.
your side. What do you think should be the 1, 2, 3 steps, especially after these elections, once all the drama of elections is over? Like, what should be the business of the day?
Well, I think one, stop the killing. So it's a policy issue. Hindi ko masabing drug policy issue. I think people are looking at the comprehensive dangerous drugs law now na parang, we need to amend it. Not really. You need to change the values within the police system. There's a lot of things to change, both practice, policy, perceptions. Kailangan nilang linisin. They were on kind of the right track noon, although hindi rin nangyari. Nung, di ba sabi nila may cleansing, they asked all the generals to resign, tapos, or for courtesy resignations, and then binalik lang nila yung walang bahid ng drugs. But apparently, some of those were involved in big drug operations or yung mga may sabit, napabalik pa rin. So, linisin talaga nila yon in terms of dun sa police. And so I would say that to some extent, this would be SSR, yung security reforms.
Sector reform, yeah.
Yeah. But ang hirap mag-recommend because I'm not part of it. So baka maraming umalma na, wala namang kinalaman yan. But you know best. And you know how dirty or how bloody your hands are. So wala nang dapat sana may, total, nag-ayuno na ba? Nitong Holy Week, yung mga nag-ayuno ngayong Holy Week.
Yeah.
Sana tanggalin na yung isip na, hindi, kailangan namin protektahan ng kapwa namin. Second, and this would be part of policy, ito yung segue, really admit that what happened before, yung killings, is wrong. And until now, the killings that are happening ay mali. And therefore, address them through an investigation. There is just this nuance na the investigation, I mean, it could, di ba? It could allow the ICC to step back and say, nag-investigate naman sa Philippines. There's a kind of investigation where the ICC will not look at this as something that mirrors their own operations or their own investigations.
It's a parallel operation.
Medyo parallel, but
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a nuance to it. Medyo detailed na, pero kumbaga, look into the individual cases and then look into even the high-ranking officials. And even if you investigate, quote-unquote, Duterte, to some extent, it will not stave off the the
Harassment.
ICC
Yeah.
investigation. Kasi for example, if you investigate violations of protocol, o di ba? Hindi naman police si Duterte and did not violate protocol. So
That would
maybe that
affect thousands of officers and all.
I know, kaya yun yung problem sa number one, yung policy and um, reforms talaga na kailangan baguhin. Sabi nga namin, ang mga pulis ba, hindi lang nila alam yung human rights or ayaw lang nilang tingnan or pansinin yung human rights. It also goes into practice eh. Kumbaga sa kanila, may nakasanayan eh. So, kahit na alam nila, di ba, mga bagong pulis, alam namin to, may human rights officer kami, pero pag nakikita nila na, dapat ba ganun? Wala, susunod na lang sila. So we need to change that mindset. Yung prosecution, it should come as part of parang a comprehensive analysis of bakit may mali. And there's also another aspect that I want, kumbaga, this government to focus on, parang bakit ba may drugs? Yun muna, bakit may drugs? And sino gumagamit ng drugs? We look at it always as a law and order problem na parang, kasi ang mga, ayaw natin sa drugs kasi sila yung criminal kasi ganito, ganyan. Pero, una, may supply side issue, then second, may demand side issue. Laging demand side yung tinitira natin. Jail the pusher, save the user, ganyan. Yung save the user, umaasa tayo sa mga church groups. Bas-basa ng mga pare, ganun. Pero yung mga user sa atin are usually yung socio-economic issues ang reason nila. Ang user usually ay
Just to spell that
kailangang
out.
magising.
Sorry, Chris. I want you to spell that out because, isa sa mga kwento is that because some people have to work so hard, almost 20
Yeah?
hours a day, they have to have some bits of stimulants, kumbaga, just to
Yeah.
survive. I don't
Yeah.
want to give more details, but people have to realize some people are taking these things not because they want to have fun or go and kill and rape. They take it because their job is so hard that it's like 5
Mm-hmm.
a.m. to 1 a.m. and they have to just keep going because they're working in a
It's
very precariats. Basically, marami sa ating mga precariat na kababayan are sometimes forced. I mean, or yung mga kailangan mag-drive ng 20 hours, 25 hours. So, it's not from the evilness of their heart or for recreation.
it's not recreational. Yeah.
It's for desperate reasons because their job is just damn hard and pays so low because of the
Oo.
capitalist system we have.
And so that's a problem. Yung socio-economic aspect, yun yung kailangan ma-address. Unlike in other countries, ang solution nila ay, okay, we will set up clinics so that people, kasi yung problem nila, may mga namamatay because of yung injections. We'll set up clinics so that they can safely inject themselves. That's not an issue here in the Philippines. Ang mas issue natin, baka ayaw naman nilang
So
gumamit.
you don't like the Portugal system, something like that?
Yeah,
You
decriminalization.
don't like
No,
that model.
and then also that's the approach in, I think, Canada and to be specific, San Francisco. Yung merong clinics that will help you inject. Hindi hindi yun mag-work or hindi yun yung kailangan natin sa ngayon. Mas I think yung trabaho. And then second, meron namang mga gumagamit talaga and usually it's with the young people. To an extent, okay na ako dun sa yung parang may program na kakikita ko lang to yung bawal maging high sa droga, maging high sa sports. So, ganun.
Yes,
Give
to
the
sports, no to
young people.
drugs. Yes,
Yeah,
to sports,
ganun.
no. Meron ganun. Welcome to like this city. Yes to sports, no to drugs.
Yeah,
Mga
ganun.
ganun,
So,
yeah.
people are kind of in the right track na kailangan bantayan yung mga kabataan kasi baka mag-explore kasi parang isang aspect nung use yung mga kabataang walang magawa, sabihin na natin. Pero yung sa kanila, hindi yung shabu, mas yung sa kanila yata yung ecstasy and kush.
Bake.
So may gano'n.
Bake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do bake. Yeah. So yeah.
All to some of our friends
So yun, so i-address the issues dun sa use ng drugs doon sa situation natin ngayon. And on the other hand, yung supply. And if the supply comes from China, at kung si Michael Yang ay isa sa mga drug lords, I don't know what he's doing or what he was doing as the special economic advisor of the former
na hindi
president.
Filipino citizen, which is like weirder. Like parang yung
parang talagang pinilit. Apparently, may pinagtatakpan pala na ties to the drug trade. Kaya yun yung nakakainis pa. Kung ako dun sa mga supporter ni Duterte, parang dun ako madidisillusion na tapos mo sabihin sa akin, safe ako sa drugs, no to drugs, yung pala, kakampi mo, drug lord, na kumbaga, hindi lang yung, syempre, sabihin na natin, yung mga, may mga pumapatay on the ground. Ilan ang napatay niya, pero yung drug lord, libo-libo ang pwede mong ma-attribute na
Medyo
killings.
capitalist yung explanation. Kailangan daw ng centralization para magkaroon ng
Ah,
discipline of distribution. Parang medyo cartel argument. Parang medyo OPEC.
okay.
Parang they need an
Which,
OPEC of drugs. I've heard weird stuff from people defending Duterte's drug war. Even when I brought up that issue, that basically Senator Trillanes' theory on this, that this is really a merger
yeah, yeah.
issue, right? Hindi, okay rin naman yan kasi actually, at least, ma-centralize yan, may disiplina, yung distribution, like, oh my God, is there anything that will make people like you reconsider this issue, right? And of course, yung issue kasi niya, I was talking to someone now, yung kapatid niya, naging drug addict and sobrang na-trauma daw yung family nila. So sobrang, whatever you'll do, i-justify niya. But kaya napunta sa, acquisition and mergers argument. But what about rejoining ICC and a kind of a
Oh,
truth
yeah.
commission for the victims? How important?
Okay. That could come later. Marami. It's a whole array of transitional justice mechanisms. So, prosecution. Pero ako, for me, important yung security sector reforms. Kasi yun yung kailangan na ngayon eh. Yun yung, kumbaga, kind of halfway between the immediate and the long term. The Truth Commission could come in later, and it has to be approached in a proper manner. I remember Noy Noy tried to do this. Yung EO1 niya, naging problematic, naging issue. Kaya we should approach this from a stakeholders point of view. Well, patawag lahat yan, paano natin gagawin. And we could have different types in one country, well, Colombia, parang sila, patawaran. So parang confessional, this is what I did, this is what I
Truth and reconciliation.
witnessed, truth and reconciliation, and
Chile,
then
I think at
quits
the same
na.
Argentina. Yeah.
Oh, quits na, okay na, walang prosecution. Do we want that or do we want prosecution? In other countries, parang you admit to something ganyan and then they will give you or you surrender a gun tapos in exchange ito ang sewing machine. Yung mga ganon na
Integration,
reintegration systems.
reintegration.
So, we need to understand and we need to feel the pulse of the stakeholders, not only of the
Okay. So what you're saying is that hindi na
victims.
Okay, so what you're saying is
And
that wag
madaliin.
itong maging prerogative ng administration mismo.
Yes.
For a moment, let's just forget it's a Marcos, like any administration for that
Yeah.
matter. Dahil napaka high stakes ito at napaka dapat stakeholders per se, civil society
Yeah.
involved sa issue
And
na yan.
even I cannot speak for the victims. I cannot say na, oh, ganito dapat gawin natin. Kaya hindi ako nagdidictate ng how this kind of truth commission can go on. I think I've been also misquoted sort of or taken out of context kasi I do support conceptually a truth commission, but I do not support a quote-unquote capital national truth commission. Hindi pa. The mechanism of that, we need to discuss fully, pero we can set out all the possible scenarios kung paano. Pero clearly, we need to come forward kung ano ba talagang nangyari. Kasi madaming routes, maraming mahahagip dyan, including yung private armed groups. Di ba na ang tagal na nating private armies, ang tagal na nating issue yan. In fact, it's in the Constitution. Yung disbandment of PAGs, parang private armed groups and private armies, etc., nung mga politiko, lalo na sa probinsya, nagamit kasi eventually, nung nakita natin, di ba, kapag yung politiko ay na-involve sa drugs, yun na rin yung nagpapalakad or nagpapatakbo. So, baka mahagip din yun dun sa discussion. Kaya magandang we do that in the long run, in the long term, and ako nga, depoliticize this kind of activity in the same way na, or rather, sayang kasi yung Marcos yung Marcos compensation claims na later on dapat sana magkakaroon ng museum, dapat mapapublish yung mga affidavits ng mga victims, kaya sana that would have been a model. Pero apparently dahil Marcos yung presidente, nawala.
Yeah, it creates
So yun yung ayaw ko na depende siya sa context.
prerogative.
Yeah. Prerogative, yeah. And then later on, I see na kailangan ito yung medyo ano ba to, vague na for me even, yung paano yung not really integration, yung othered people, yung na dehumanize natin, yung sabi natin na walang kwenta, salot sa lipunan, paano natin i-welcome back into society or paano natin tatanggapin ulit. Kasi kung gaano nga kaliit yung ano, sabi ko nga, kung yung mga magnanakaw nga dati na ninakawan yung kaban ng bayan, na welcome back natin, bakit hindi yung kapwa Pilipino? And that kind of kumbaga,
Ayaw nga natin
community-based.
i-welcome back eh. Ayaw nga, paalisin na, papakulong na yung isa, yung Sandigan Bayan, nag-rule na doon. Sabi, sabi ka ni
Ang
Jonathan
hirap ang
Morales,
gulo-gulo.
hindi katulad ni Buti in Senador, hindi ako convicted. I know you watched that hearing, yung hearing ni Bato about Polvoron. And then, nung nag-ano si Jinggoy, sabi na, hindi katulad ng Buti na Senador, hindi ako convicted. Oh my God, that was, okay. So actually, thank you for this. Kasi, okay, what if I offer and compromise? Let's say, magkakaroon ng interim Quadcom style na Truth Commission just to build national consensus and understanding around the facts of the case. And then a much more long term. So you can, kasi ang,
Mhm.
ang worry ko dito is if we're just gonna take the next, alam natin how NGO, civil society, we will debate this for 10 years, right? Ang
Yeah.
point ko kasi is, sa impeachment is gonna come soon, right? The trial most likely. So obviously, my interest yung iba dyan to expose this because it serves their political interest. So I completely agree with you that we shouldn't leave it only to these people because they have their own political scores to settle. But ang point ko is that couldn't that be an interim measure just to make sure ang ating bayan alam nila yung kwento ng mga biktima? Parang kumbaga ito yung version ng Quadcom na lumabas yung Miggy Mango, Mary Grace Piatos. In this case, it's actually the horrible toll of Duterte's drug war para lang magkaroon ng magkaliwanagan tayo dito sa katotohanan dito. But this will not be the final ultimate truth commission. The final
Yeah.
ultimate one. Parang, I'm thinking along those lines eh. Kasi kung iwanan natin ito sa debate lang, you know it better than me, Attorney Con. It will take 10 years before we agree. Argentinian
Yeah.
model, Chilean model, Colombian model. Mamaya, next thing you know, fiesta na, di ba? So, what I'm saying is, I think we have to have a sense of urgency, at the same time, kind of a long view of this is a generational problem to resolve.
Ah.
Ganon yung inisip ko. And then the second
So,
point I want to ask
ah.
you, compensation issue. What about the compensation issue? Isn't Sara Duterte asking ICC to help them actually? Giving them to key to figure, oh, ang dami niyong palang pera. Wait lang, si Michael Yang na. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, eventually, like, kaya napaisip ko, why would Sara do that? Actually, baka mamaya they will regret their bank accounts being checked because Senator Trillanes is very excited to check their bank.
I know. So, well, one, could be, yeah, parang legislative inquiry. And to note, one of the articles of impeachment against Sara Duterte includes yung extrajudicial killings, her role. So that has to be fleshed
As the
out.
mayor of Davao. As the mayor
As
of
mayor
Davao.
of Davao, yes, as mayor of Davao. So for me, I'm interested in that as well kasi what I have is not sufficient kasi Davao yun eh. At kulang ang impormasyon ko dyan. The ICC could have some materials and hopefully dito sa sa impeachment mapakita yan. If there is ever a new Quadcom, parang ganon, well, I think we would still participate because the victims had kung nga, on a scale of 1 to 10, nandun sa 5. Nandun sa
I'll
5
take
yung
five
ano
over
nila.
zero any day. I'll take.
Yeah. Kasi gusto nila that they were able to talk. Kaya lang yun nga, ang ayaw din nila ay parang hindi naman kami yung pinapakinggan lang. Parang we were given 2 minutes out of all the time. Tapos parang yung iba, parang anong mga pinagagagawa, ano pang mga in-explore. Although we understand na parang they were focused on identifying who were the perpetrators. Kaya lang, may missed chances, including yung sa Pinas kay Debold Sinas. Di ba? Si Manyanita person. Malapit na rin siya mag-birthday ulit, no? June.
I'm not sure it will be as manyanita. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Basta
he is
yun lang yung
well.
ano sa. Pero si Debold bilang isa sa mga perpetrators din nung panahon ni Duterte. Could be, that's a possibility. Kaya lang yung danger nga na it could be politicized again. It just depends really on who will manage it. In the long run, ang importante talaga ay magsama-sama yung mga stakeholders. And hopefully, so we go now to compensation. Hopefully, merong maayos and even earlier than compensation dito sa ICC case, magkausap yung mga victims and the groups that are helping them to agree how to reach out to the victims. Kasi actually, yung victims, di nga nila alam na victim sila eh. Oo, namatay yung ano ko, yung asawa ko eh. Pero okay lang, ano naman yun eh, i-break ko na naman talaga siya eh. Yung ganon. Kaya parang, hindi po biktima po kayo. Ganun ba? So, yung ganung concept na yung mga biktima, hindi nga nila alam na biktima sila, kailangan ding pag-usapan at alalayan pa rin sila.
Because na-internalize nila yung dehumanization.
Yes, internalize sila yung stigma na
Yung problema,
kami naman po may problema eh. Ganun talaga eh. So, hopefully, this ICC case will give us the opportunity to really sit down na, okay, mag-usap-usap tayo. Because we also need to determine who will be part of the legal team for the victims. So, it will be a three-sided ring, ganun ba? So, prosecution, defense, and then the victims. The victims, technically, are not the second prosecution. Hindi naman kami mag-prove ng case. Kaya pa para dyan sa mga nagbinabatuhan kami lagi ng, kailangan mong pruwebahan to, Attorney Conti. No, si Karim Khan po ang kailangan magpruweba ng kung ano mang hinihingi nyo. So, the victims just have to present their parang views and concerns. At the end of this, reparations. Yan. And the reparations, sabi nga nung ilang judges sa ICC, cannot be measured according to what the accused can give. E di zero yan sa ibang pagkakataon kasi indigent din yung akusado in some cases. Siguro naman hindi dito, no? Siguro sa panahon na